locked in. Everybody knows poppin'. Tell a hater hoe to shut up and start the talking. Conversations getting juicy cause I'm the topic. Eat them up, leave no crumbs, got these bitches starving. Young turned lit and I'm put up. On these bitches next to my foot up. Skin smooth, flawless, call me hood, hate the bum.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Get Messy with Meg. This is episode 9, y'all. Yay! Today's episode is going to be a little bit more serious. We are going to discuss mental health on today's episode. Mental health, suicide rates in the Black community. That's what we're going to talk about today in light of recent events that happened with Kyren Lacey, who was a football player who played at LSU, who would have been going to the draft this year, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, he had a situation going on as far as a car accident. I do not know the details of the situation, so I will not be discussing the details of that. And then he recently just committed suicide. Again, I do not know the full details, so I will not be discussing what I think or why I think he did it. That is not my concern. My concern is your mental health, especially in the Black community. But before we jump into it, thank you guys so much for all the support and love so far. The podcast itself has been growing tremendously since I've started, and I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you guys for sharing it with your friends, family, loved ones, aunties, uncles, brothers, everyone that you have been sharing it with. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the reviews, those of you who left one. If you have not paid your dues, please leave a review. I would really appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribing, commenting, engaging, letting me know anything that you want to hear on the podcast. Giving me your feedback about the podcast. Anything. Just reach out to me. Don't be scared. I don't bite. Maybe. But yes. So on last week's episode, we discussed the baby mama drama. That episode had a good bit of response, not as far as reviews, but I did see y'all listening. It seems like y'all liked it, so thank you. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. So I was doing a little bit of research because I've genuinely been concerned with the amount of suicides that I've been noticing lately. So we're going to start with the suicide rate among Black adolescents is increasing faster than any other racial and ethnic groups from 2007 to 2020. The suicide rate rose 144% among 10 to 17-year-olds who are Black. Although the overall youth suicide rate is trending downwards, this data raises alarm about the need to improve and address mental health care for Black communities. That's just between the ages of 10 to 17. That's not even addressing the suicide rates within 17 to 30, 30 and above. I'm concerned. And I can't tell anyone how to feel. I cannot tell anyone how to deal with what they're dealing with. I can't physically hold your hand, but today I will virtually hold your hand. I'm virtually sending hugs. I'm sending love. And I am letting you know that my inbox, my DMs, my number, whatever way of contacting me you have, I'm available. And I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of these people who fell victim to themselves, I was a Kyren Lacey. However, I was unsuccessful. Everybody has a past. Everyone has their own issues, but I've had a couple. So I feel like today I'm going to connect with you guys on a different level, a different frequency, and I'm going to tell parts of my story so that you feel heard. I feel like me sharing my story may help save at least one life. And with the story that I have, it's a rough one, but I'm willing to do it to save a life, because I don't know exactly what you may be going through, but I've been there. It's not pretty. It's not easy. And I wish I had people in my corner that understood my mental and what I was going through. And it's hard to find people that do, or in general, just find anybody to truly trust with those details. So today, I'm going to share my story. And I'm hoping that each and every one of you, whether it's me or someone else, can find someone that you feel comfortable sharing your story with, so you don't have to go through what you are going through alone. Okay, y'all, so we're going to take it on back. Some things that I'm going to discuss is just a part of my testimony. It's not wholeheartedly dealing with a straight hardcore impact on my mental health, but certain things in my past connect with certain and recent events that makes me anyways. So we're gonna start with a story about when I was 4 years old. It's very short because I remember, but there's still a lot I don't remember. So in 1999, I remember being in the car with my mom and my cousin, and my mom was pregnant with my first brother, and we got hit by an 18-wheeler. So being hit by this 18-wheeler, of course, the car was totaled out. I have a very, very vivid image of my mom and how she was laid out from the accident. And mind you, I'm 29 years old and it's 2025. And it caused my mom to have a C-section, and she had to have my brother early. So he was a preemie baby. Based on the status of when he was finally pulled out of the womb, he was not expected to survive. However, he did. I got to spend 25 years with him, and that will be kind of the last story we'll get into, and we're gonna circle back to the car accident and tie it together. But I never realized how much I remember from that accident for me to be 4 years old, and it's pretty traumatizing, but it connects with something later down the line. So next is, so the next incident was 2012. I grew up with my first generation. I am fifth generation. So I grew up with my great-great-grandparents, great-grand, and grandparents. But in 2012, my great-great-granddad passed away. That was my first time experiencing death. That was my first time experiencing grief. I've never experienced anything like that, and when I tell you, I struggled so bad. I went complete zombie mode. I isolated. I caused rifts in friendships. I didn't necessarily act out, but I acted funny, if that's what you want to call it. Everybody did not know what was going on. There was a lot of people that I did not tell. However, for the people that did know, it's just like, by the way that they were acting when I would be upset or have an attitude or not want to talk, it's as if they just act like I didn't lose somebody really close to me, and I've never experienced that. So it had me not wanting to tell other people, because of the initial reaction of people that I actually trusted. So I kind of pulled away from my friends and I reconnected with an old friend. We grew up together in elementary school, and we just lost connection because she moved and went to another school. So we reconnected. We spent the whole Christmas break together, and if you know, in school back then, it was almost like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks, 2.5 almost. So we spent the whole break together. She stayed with me at my older cousin's house. And like, I really, 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 really confided in her. I'm talking about crying on this girl's shoulder. I told her how I felt. I told her everything. I even told her that because I couldn't deal and sort my feelings, I tried to overdose on pills. I can't remember what pills, but yes, I tried to OD on pills. But it did not work. I can't tell you why it didn't work. I'm kind of mentally blocked there, but it did not work. By the grace of God, it did not work. So that was my first and only suicide attempt. But that also led to me confiding in her. And when I confided in her, we got back to school, and one of her friends came back from they call it STARS. So when you go off, it's not detention, but it's like the alternative school. Yeah, she went to alternative school basically. So she came back, and out of nowhere, the girl stopped talking to me. She's mocking me in class, like trying to be funny and stuff like that. So that really broke my heart. Like, I felt so betrayed. I felt so embarrassed. I'm just like, I went and told this girl the deepest, darkest secret that I could have ever told somebody at that time. And you come to school and you're mocking me, and you're trying to bully me, and you're trying to make fun of me in class. I mean, granted, I can't say she was not making fun of the situation itself. She was just like, anything I said in class, she would mock after me. So it wasn't like she was telling my business or anything, which she probably still could have, but that's not how she was making fun of me. But I got triggered, and when the bell rang for us to leave out of class, she was walking down the hallway, and she just kept talking. All I kept saying was, just turn around. Just turn around and say it to my face. Just turn around. I followed her all the way to her classroom, and she finally turned around and she pushed me. And next thing I know, I'm just seeing black and red. That's all I seen. And one of her friends tried to jump in, and I'm hitting everybody. I never cared. A teacher finally snatched me up. I bit him so he can drop me. I'm crawling through the crowd, crying, snot bubbles. Like, it was bad. You know, and still to this day, deep down inside, I need another one with her because I got interrupted. I did not get to finish, but I've moved on, I think. But it caused me to get into a fight. That was a lot of pent-up emotion. It was a lot. Like, I was just embarrassed. I was overwhelmed, overstimulated, depressed. That was my first true era of depression. Like, real depression that I experienced. So yeah, that was a rough year. That was a very rough year for me. I didn't know how to navigate. I didn't know how to express how I felt. I didn't feel like I had anyone to talk to, because I felt like anyone in my family, it wasn't fair because they lost him too. So I didn't feel like I could talk to them. So it just had me in a really dark place. And it did lead me to trying to commit suicide by overdosing on pills. Next situation, I accidentally skipped this. I'm trying to go in order, but it's okay if I don't. There's only really one thing that really connects with each other, and that's the accident and the later situation. But before that, I had my first sexual assault situation. When your parents tell you they don't want you spending the night at everybody's house, believe me, they have their reasons. They may be telling you because they've experienced it. They may be telling you because someone they love has experienced it. But when they tell you they do not want you to spend a night at everybody's house, please stop going to everybody's house, y'all. It's not meant for you. You may trust your friend. You may trust your friend, but you cannot trust everyone that your friend trusts. And I'm gonna leave it at that and get into it. So me and my friend in middle school, we used to always have sleepovers. And at this point, I had spent the night at her house like 2-3 times already. I never had any problems. I loved going over there. I loved her granny, her granddad. Food was always good. I always felt at home. Like, that was my sister. But one weekend, some of her older cousins were in town. It was like two or three boys. And anytime I spent the night, I would sleep in the bed with her. But for some reason, her cousins were, I think we were like watching a movie or something. And she fell asleep. I fell asleep, and they were still in the bed. I can't remember if they fell asleep at some point. Maybe they faked it. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I kind of just mentally removed. So I only remember certain details, but, all three of them was like trying to touch on me and trying to, force their way into my private parts and, kissing all over me, and made me very, very uncomfortable. And honestly, I don't remember anything else after that. But I never told anyone. I never even told her. And I feel like with damn near 5 people in the bed, you had to have known. And that next morning, no one said anything. No one did anything. I never spent the night at her house again. Never spent the night at her house again. Because, of course, at that time, I didn't think, I know she got to be up. I know she know. I was young. I was probably like 11, 12 at the time. But now that I'm older, or when I have reflected on it at an older age, I'm like, there's just no way. But at the same time, I don't blame her, because if she was aware and she was up and just pretending to be asleep, she probably was scared. She didn't know any better either. They're older than her. We wasn't doing sexual things at that age. Not us. I mean, yes, we liked boys. I mean, we thought boys were cute. We interacted with boys, but we weren't doing that. No. So yeah, that I never told anyone about that. Then I had another sexual assault situation with an old coworker. And me and a friend and her boyfriend, we all worked at the same place. And so, like, on the weekends, we'll get together, or some days after work, we'll just get together at her boyfriend's apartment. And this coworker, he also lived out there where the boyfriend lived. So I think they ran to this. I don't know what they were doing. They were trying to like set me and him up, and he was really cute. Don't get me wrong, he was cute. We worked together. I had a little crush on him, whatever. So they were trying to set us up. They went to like go get food or something. I don't even think it was food. They went somewhere for a minute. I don't know if they were like going on a date or something, but I end up going to hang out with said coworker, and they were taking a little long, and I was sleepy, so I asked him if I could just take a quick nap while I'm waiting on them, because of course he locked his door and stuff like that, so I couldn't just go back to my friend's boyfriend's place. So I asked him, can I take a nap? And for a good little minute, he was just like sitting up on the bed on his phone, playing the game, whatever. And then next thing I know, same situation. You tried to take my underwear off and stuff while I was sleeping, and you made sexual advances at me, and kissing on me, and all that stuff. Again, one of those situations where I blocked out a lot of stuff, so I'm only speaking on what I remember. But whatever happened caused me to become so alarmed. I called her and her boyfriend, and they came and they confronted him. It became a whole situation. Those were the only 3 people who knew about that situation, person involved, and those 2. And of course, I never told anyone. I never pressed charges, never called the police, anything like that. Before I move on to the next situation, I understand that it's hard to speak up on situations like this, And it can be a lot of he says, she said, especially if there's not hard evidence. But ladies, speak up. Speak up. Don't be scared to speak up. Don't let someone try to take advantage of you, assault you. If you did not say yes, it was not consensual, you did not want it, that is sexual assault or rape. Men, I have a message for you. We're older now. If you have not figured it out yet and you still think it's cool, when you, and especially a lot of my guy friends, well, old guy friends, or guys that I've came across and they say they lost their virginity between 7 and 11 to the babysitter. I hate to tell you, but baby, you were raped. Between the ages of 7 and 11, you were raped. You were sexually assaulted. You did not know what you were doing. I want you to be okay with, well, not necessarily be okay with that, but if you haven't grasped that by now, I just kind of want you to reflect on that and understand that was not okay. That was not okay. And I know that, you guys brag on that and you're like, yeah, I lost my virginity when I was da-da-da-da, the babysitter, da-da-da. No. That's illegal. Especially with some of y'all's babysitters being 18 and older. That's illegal. You were raped. That is sexual assault. So, now moving on. And this is pretty much a domino effect, I guess I want to say. So mind you, I said I experienced my first death and grief in 2012 when my great-great-granddad died. In 2021, I got another dose. My cousin was in a car accident and she died. And if you actually really know me and you know her, we were like sisters. That was like the older sister that I didn't have. And we literally grew up together. Damn near best friends. And even though the older we got, it's not like we talked every day. But we still talked. When I came in town, because at one point I had moved. When I came to town, we going to get food. Like, we go get my niece. We do stuff with her. We bonded over the kids. Like, we were the cousins who didn't have the kids yet. We were starting to like travel, like become the it girls. We were giving the rich auntie vibes without being rich or whatever. So she died, and that was hard. That was hard. Like, it was literally LSU weekend, I think. Either LSU or Auburn weekend. And I had my friends from Auburn come to town and they wanted to get the Alabama experience. And one of my friends, he played for Alabama at the time. So we took them out to a spot in Tuscaloosa. And we were standing in line. I kid y'all not. And I got the call. And my granny just kept saying, Jazz is dead. Jazz is dead. Like, literally just kept repeating it. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to say. I couldn't find the words. I was like, Grandma, stop playing on my phone. Like, that's not funny. And she was like, no, she's really gone. My baby gone. And I was like, well, Grandma, right now I'm out with Moody and the gang. I'll call you back. I could not respond. I could not say anything. I stood in line. And the way my whole mood changed, like, my friends were like, are you okay? Da, da, da. And I kind of just like whispered, like, my granny just called and said my cousin died. And like, they were like, we can leave and we can go. But I didn't want to leave. Like, I already knew if I left, I was not going to be okay. So that was around 11 o'clock. We made it into the bar. I'm drinking. I'm putting shots in the air for her. And next thing you know, of course, I'm drunk. My friends take me back to my friend Moody's dorm. And I just cried. I cried all night. Fell asleep at Moody's dorm probably like 2, maybe 3 in the morning. Took a slight nap. My friends stayed up with me until about 5 o'clock in the morning. Drove me home. Made sure I was okay. I got home, sat on the couch, cried some more, cried myself to sleep. And then it came to me in my dream. She came to me and she showed me what happened. And that was very traumatizing because we have not released it. That happened the end of 2021. We have not released that information to anyone. There's a lot of people who do not know the details of her car accident. But she showed me, and literally the next day when I finally went to see my family, and they told the ones that did know, they told me, and they confirmed what she showed me. And that was hard. And that was right before Thanksgiving, my mom's birthday, and it hurt because I loved her, but I'm getting emotional. But it also just hurt seeing the people that I loved grieving. So it was really hard. But I pretty much did okay after the funeral. I was a little bit more accepting, but I was just kind of shook because I mean, from 2012 up into 2021, nobody in my immediate family has ever died. Nobody that I really knew and could be like, oh my fucking God, this person has died. So it was rough. And then a couple months later, my great-great-grandma passed. Now that one was a little bit more easier to deal with because I was always mentally prepared for it. So it wasn't as hard, but it was hard because I had just lost her. And it's like, that's 2 people. And then shortly after my cousin passed, one of my little brothers, his girlfriend, was accidentally killed, and just trying to see like how he handled it and worried about him, that did a lot. That put a lot on me. And then after my great-great-granny died, my great-aunt passed. She's not my cousin, but she was my aunt's goddaughter, and I loved her so much. Like that was my cousin. Like, may not have been blood, but that was my cousin. Boyfriend killed her. That year did me in. And to think, when I finally was starting to find a little bit of peace, I found out 2-3 weeks before my granddad died that he had cancer. And he had it for so long, and then I know it just spread out through his body, and it just wasn't no hope. So I went to see him. Because at that time I lived in a different city, so I had to travel back home. And I went to see him. And immediately when I saw him, it hurt me so bad. Because growing up, he was such a strong man. I was taking care of business. It was so hard to see him so weak and defeated. And Y'all tried so hard to hold my tears when I was in there because I didn't want to upset him. So, you know, you hold your tears and you do like a lot of sniffling and whimpering and stuff. And before I left, I leaned down to give him a kiss on the cheek. And I made him cry like he was crying. And then a couple days later, I got the phone call. He was gone, so I took that very hard. Like, that whole year did me in so bad, and then it just took me out at that end. Like, I went on a drinking bender. It was bad. I don't even know how I was able to drive home, but I drove myself home. Like, I went out with some of my friends, and the guy that I was talking to at the time, he was there, and apparently I acted a fool, and like everybody was trying to get me to calm down. He was irritating me. I left, drove drunk, got home, literally was recording, trying to go live, literally crying so hard in the camera, just talking about how my granddad didn't deserve it, how I just hate everybody, and I was a mess. I was a mess, and it was so crazy because even when my cousin passed, I was like, I don't want to drink anymore. And if you're wondering, for all you that know me, that is a lot of the reason why I cut back on drinking and I don't drink as much as I used to, because I did not want that to be a crutch for me, and I didn't want to become an alcoholic. I chose to stop before it became a problem, because I knew the potential of it becoming a problem. So yeah, that night I got real fucked up. I couldn't take it anymore. And after that, I cut back again. Now, I still was drinking socially, don't get me wrong, but like just out drinking, not really. So then I started finding my legs again, y'all. I kid y'all not. I started finding my legs. And then 2023, 5 days before Christmas, got another call. And this time it was my brother, and I'm still dealing with this so hard to this day. Talking about him just upsets me so bad, but not because of him, just because of the situation. But got the call, and I immediately started getting frustrated because I didn't get the call from like my mom, granny, anybody like that. People were calling me on Facebook like, do you know, do you know, do you know? And it was really just pissing me off. So I was like real frantic. I'm like making Facebook posts like, stop calling me, stop saying my brother dead and you don't truly know, like stop wishing that on him, like stop saying that. And I finally was able to get in touch with my aunt, and I couldn't even fix my mouth to say the words. I'm just like, just tell me it's not true. She was like, I'm sorry, but it's true. And all I could do, I don't know why I ran to the closet, but I ran to my closet. I literally fell to my knees. So I just broke down. Like, I have never cried the way I cried and yelled, because I had just saw him. And it made me even madder because it was on my heart to call him and just tell him I miss him, I love him, like just check in with him. It was on my heart so heavy, and I hate that I didn't even call. And the situation itself didn't help because he was murdered by police officers. So it was a lot. And I'm still dealing with it. I deal with it in my own way. But the hard part about it all, and the reason why I had to tell y'all from beginning to end. Oh, I missed one of my near-death experience because the 18-wheeler was one. And my stepdad accidentally drove off an incline on the interstate. Car flipped 10 times and we hit a tree, and I was able to walk away. No broken bones, no nothing, just a few scratches from climbing out of the woods, climbing up the incline to get up on the interstate so people can find us. But all that to say, well, I tried to say it in order because, one, despite everything that I've experienced, losing my sibling, especially the way I lost it, was one of the hardest things that I ever had to deal with. People mourn for the mother, the dad, the grandma, but y'all don't know how it feels as a sibling. And this is why I circle back to the first story I told you about the 18-wheeler. Despite how much me and my siblings talk or do not talk, we love each other with everything in us. We do not play about each other. But that one, we were bonded from the day he came on this earth because we went through something so traumatizing together. We were bonded. We were going to be bonded, brother or not. We were going to be bonded for life. Something that we, in some cases, some people don't walk away from. We both came out alive and we got to experience life together. We got to grow up together. So, to know that I have experienced all the stuff that I've experienced, and I attempted to commit suicide, and I had 2 true, like, near-death experiences, to know that my brother was not extended the same grace that I was extended. That's something hard to live with, because I feel like it wasn't fair that I got so many chances and now he's gone. And he got 3 little people here who's always looking for him. And it's just like, when they truly grow to understand what happened, what am I supposed to say to them? What am I supposed to do? Like, it's very hard on so many levels. And that's why this is the type of grief I've had to really go slow with. I had to take it day by day. And I had to fight. When I say I had to fight for my life, literally, to not fall into a depression, to stay as strong as I can be. Yes, I've given myself grace. I have moments where I lose it. Like, I just think of him and I just have to cry. But, I'm sorry, y'all, hold on. But, y'all, this has been the hardest thing I ever had to deal with. I'm gonna tell you one of the other reasons why. Not only was it losing a sibling, it's because I pray over my loved ones and I pray over my siblings. And in one of the prayers, the last prayer that I said, I asked God specifically to take care of him and, you know, keep him safe and just make sure he makes it home and just protect him. And to get that news, it damaged my relationship with God so bad for like a couple of weeks, because that's who I blamed. I literally was looking up at the sky, huffing, puffing, cussing God out, because I'm just like, that's not what I asked for. But I mean, how I end up just finding some type of peace is because God gave me exactly what I asked for. I wasn't specific. I said protect him, make sure he makes it home. He protected him and he took him home. He took him home. I didn't ask God to protect his flesh. I just said protect him. I wasn't specific. So I couldn't be mad at nobody but myself. But that's how I kind of found peace in the situation. Well, not the situation, peace with him being gone. But as far as the situation, more so still angry. Just, if you're black, you know. So I don't really have to go into detail about how I feel about police killing my brother. But I'm just happy he's in a better place. He has his own battles that he was dealing with in the flesh. It's not my place to speak on his problems. But he's experienced his own hardships, and now he don't have to experience those anymore. So I can't be nothing but thankful for that. God did what I asked him to do, so can't fault him for that. But all this to say, I know it's hard. I know how hard it is. I've experienced sexual assault, grief, depression, near-death experiences, attempted suicide. But here I am. I'm still standing. So I can be here to tell you my story, my testimony. No, none of it was easy. It was not easy. It's not gonna be easy. But you gotta give yourself some grace, and you gotta give yourself some love. And I know it's so hard to trust somebody with the stuff that you are going through. But try. Try for yourself. Even if you need to seek a therapist, BetterHelp.com. They offer free therapists. There's other sites. I'll be glad to tag them. Find someone you can confide in. Out of all the people that I wish I could have confided in, I had to handle a lot of this stuff on my own. I didn't get to tell people until it was too late. But luckily, I'm physically here in the flesh, you know. Things didn't go as far as they could have, and I'm thankful for that. But that don't make my experiences less, you know. But I can say, I will not tell you his name, but I do have someone who is really, really special to me. Will always hold a spot in my heart. 2016. Anything that led up to 2016, I told that one person my story. He never judged me. He was always willing to listen. Even to this day, we've reconnected recently, and he just listens. No judgment. He don't tell me how I should feel. He don't tell me how I should think. He doesn't try to give me advice. He just listens. And I appreciate him way more than he would ever know. There's nothing in this world that I can show that man to let him know how much I appreciate him and love him. And like, yeah. But just find someone who you can trust and confide in. If it's not someone like that, a therapist. I know how hard it is, because at the end of the day, people can't give what they've never had. In the Black community, discussing mental health is frowned upon. And that's why so many of us feel like we have no one to turn to. Because the people that raised us, the people who watched us grow, the people around us, the people who are supposed to be here to support us, no matter what, frown upon one of the most dangerous things that can affect us as children, as adults, as teenagers. The most dangerous thing. And that's our mental. Mental issues are real. The Black community needs to accept them. The world needs to accept them. We are not all okay. And it's okay not to be okay. We experience things in life, good and bad. But who gonna be there to support us and hold our hand when things get so bad that we can't support ourselves? Find your people. Find your people. Hold on to them. Like I'm trying to hold on to my person. I don't trust everybody with the information that I share with y'all today. But here I am hoping that my story, my testimony may save a life. Because I've been through hell and high water. And I keep asking God to take me off his strongest soldier list. And so far, y'all, 2025 has been great. Do not get me wrong. But I always keep picking up my shoulder like, I don't know, y'all. Past couple of years been rough. What is it really my time to shine, or I'm being bamboozled again? But if you didn't hear today, I love you. I support you. I'm here to listen. It's a blessing and a curse, but a lot of people don't know I have a healing spirit. I have been hiding it for a while because it was taking a toll on me. I was carrying everybody else's burdens and I couldn't work through my own. I have a healing spirit. I am an empath. So there's another reason why I be out here struggling. But mental health is real, y'all. We really gotta look out for each other, because if we don't look out for each other, who gonna look out for us? No one. There is no reason why we gotta keep losing people succumbing to their mental issues. There's voices in our heads that tell us to do the things that we do to help numb the pain, to make it go away. What we think gonna make it go away, a temporary fix. It's not it. And to the people out there that think people who commit suicide is taking the easy way out, you're being a coward, stop saying that. That is not an easy decision. First of all, it's not easy to admit defeat, let alone admit defeat to the point where you just give up and you just want to end it right then and there. That is not easy. Nothing about that is easy. Just like it's not easy to choose to stay strong, to choose to fight for another day. None of it is easy. There is no easier option. All you can hope and pray for is that somebody come and hold your hand and tell you it's going to be okay, and they just listen to you. That's the only way it gets easier. That's the only way. So make it easy for somebody. Make it easy for the person next to you. Check on your strong friends. Because unfortunately, y'all, I am the strong friend. Nobody checks on me until I start showing signs of aggression, signs of emotional distress, signs that I may not be okay. That's when people check on me. And there's no shade, no tea to my friends. Like I said, you can't ask people for what they don't have. But y'all, this is a call to action. Be more considerate. Be more supportive. Be more open-minded. Stop just waving off people's feelings. Do you know how many times somebody had waved off my feelings when I tried to speak on how I feel about something, whether it was big or small? Do you know how that makes me feel as a human? That makes me feel like don't nobody care. So when something major in my life happens, like sexual assault, grief, depression, suicide attempts, what makes you think that I'm going to be comfortable coming to you? Stop waving people's feelings off. You just breaking down the trust. Any bit of trust that they had in you and confiding in you. But don't beat yourself up about doing it, because again, you can't give what you don't have. So I need everybody to give grace. I need those who are going through it to give themselves grace. I need those who may or may not know what to do in the situations. Give grace to the people around you and give yourself grace. Take the time to just support somebody. Tap your name on the shoulder. Just say, I'm here. Tap your friend on the shoulder. I'm here. Because at this rate, y'all, at this moment, I care about everybody, but right now, the black community, we're not doing okay. And it's time we do something about it. Well, I'm gonna stop this episode right here. I want to thank you guys for showing love, supporting, sharing my story, sharing my podcast. You know, can't do this without y'all. I hope my story and some of the things that I've been through help someone. So make sure someone who needs to hear this gets it, okay? But until next time, y'all. Bye.